What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smashing Pumpkins, and we're returning to Adore 1998. Thank you again to Sofia for this album. And the next track is The Tale of Dusty and Pistol Pete. So I'm familiar with a few fictional characters and real people who went by the name Pistol Pete, most notably from my own experience as a sports fan, Pistol Pete Maravich, who was a basketball player who died young. But I doubt that reference is relevant here. Yet, I don't know of any tale that I'm familiar with which features a Dusty and a Pistol Pete. So if there is a particular reference here, literary or historical, I'm not familiar with it. Of course, it could be names created for a tale anew in the lyrics here, but in whatever case, I will try to catch what I can. This is Smashing Pumpkins. The track is The Tale of Dusty and Pistol Pete, and it's from their 1998 album, Adore.
Dusty skin through doors and imaginary flowers. Why can't you miss me? Pistol Pete removes the final breath from her unkind, and she is shaking. What does this mean? In love or in peace, with you lying next to me, so faithless serene. And she calls to him, let their waves cross the ancient trail to you. Far out beneath the sorrow cloud, let them taste the bitter lost mistake of you. Let them cry out through your rusted sky. Alone he rounds inside the ordinary catacombs of her waiting. With raven hands she steals and staggers towards a man, still scorned by his demon, because he's undone. Become the language of disaster and love, vengeance and doubt. She calls to him, let the waves cross the ancient trail
that line, just to clarify, it's let them cry out through your rusty scar, is that right? Yeah, lyrically, I caught tidbits here and there, but I really don't know how it stitches together. And what was that line? Something like, you drown while I hold your head down in the wind, or something like that? So, yeah, it sounds like there is some unpleasantry or disconnect, and yet I don't really know what was it, like shouting through doors. Yeah, I gotta hear this one again lyrically, and of course I look forward to any insight people have. But like, it seems like there's a full multi-character story happening here, again with some discord or strife or trouble, and yet I don't know how the little tidbits I heard all connect together or form a chronological beginning, middle, and end story. So I look forward to any comments in that regard, and I will re-listen and try to get a sense of it. And speaking of re-listening, this is one I'm looking forward to hearing in headphones, because there was a couple points more in the first half of the track, and I don't know if that's accurate or if this wasn't happening at all, but it felt like some of the sounds, even Billy's voice, was panning like left, right. So obviously when I listen in headphones I'll get a better sense of that, but even just here with the room sound, it felt like it was panning left, right a little bit. And yeah, it's a sweet, kind of mellow, what's the right word? It's not like a ballad, and in fact, right when it started, that percussive beat, it almost sounded a bit dance floor, like a bit, drum machine, like dance music, and then the acoustic guitar came in, and there were some other, I think, like electric guitar that was sort of more atmospheric, and like these long, like chords that are almost like, melodic pads in the background, which really stood out. I don't know, it was a little bit past halfway. There was a moment where it was kind of an interlude, and I think the acoustic guitar was still strumming, but there were these long melodic strokes in the background, which maybe that wasn't guitar, maybe that was keyboard or something, but yeah, it's like, it was kind of like a folk rock tune, but with some electronic sounds and a little more energy. So like, yeah, like a folk ballad. It feels like it was too energetic to call it a folk ballad, but that's kind of the direction it was in. So, listening, let's say you were to listen to Bullet with Butterfly Wings and then listen to this, apart from Billy's voice, would you believe that it's the same band? I feel like there's, a lot of diversity in their catalog, which I already knew, even going into this album, and then of course over the duration of this album so far, I feel like that's even expanded somewhat. So it's a credit to their stylistic diversity and creativity that they try so many different styles and types, and it's still, it's always compelling, it's always interesting. I, again, don't know what to make of the narrative here, but I enjoyed Billy's vocals. They were less, again, I always feel bad saying this, like less nasally than he sometimes sounds, though I don't mean that in any critical way, because I enjoy when he like hits that more, passionate and like sort of higher pitched delivery, but here it was more like smooth and melodic for the most part. There was actually one moment when he did something interesting with his vocal delivery, and of course I'm forgetting exactly now how my brain characterized it in the moment, but there were a couple points in the song where he did something, outside even what I've come to expect from his, various vocal stylings. So yeah, a cool tune, definitely a storytelling track. I just don't quite know what the story is, so I look forward to getting any insight, and I will of course re-listen. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.